Hello and welcome to the Dream Team Tonic podcast as we preview game week 28 Sun Dream Team. Recording on Monday night, so we still have got some European second legs to play. Ben, how was your weekend? All good?
All good, mate. Not too bad. Busy as usual with the kids' footy and that, but yeah, not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, not bad at all. Race. And what about you, Tony? You good?
I'm all right, mate. Shocking weekend of football for me. With football, all my teams losing, Dream Team, yeah, it's gone down the pan. Other than that, I'm great.
There's always next week.
That's what he said.
Yeah, I did notice there was a certain Chelsea player captained in your team. I only noticed that today, actually.
Honestly. Yeah, thought out with him.
We'll let you vent in a minute, but before we do, we'll just say hello to people in the chat. Thank you for your patience. We're a few minutes late starting. Evening to Steve, Miss Noopy, Joe, Patrick, Gary, Ian, Steve. No, we're not asleep, Steve. Sorry, mate. We're not asleep. Sorry for keeping you waiting. Nathan, Simon. Is that it? And Graham. Good evening, everyone. Right, let's kick things off by how we got on, or are getting on so far. Go on, let's start with you, Tone. Let's start with you.
Oh, you have to. I've not got my team up and I can't see him on my phone.
All right, let's start with Ben. Ben, you had your own team versus your dream team here, didn't you, basically? Win-win.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've been watching Leicester over the last few weeks and they have been absolutely atrocious. And then the week I don't want them to change the formation, they're going to put 5 at the back. So they stopped Chelsea from scoring. So I brought in Neto and Nkunku for Haaland and Foden. Looks like it's worked out all right so far, but nothing special. Obviously, Haaland and Foden only got 5 points between them, and they only play one game. I've still got Copenhagen to go, which is still in the balance because it's only 2-1 from the first leg. And they took Palmer off early, so that might be a good sign for the second leg. Onana got 4, Van Dijk got 2, Trent got 7, Porro got a start, 3 points. Rodgers 3, Fernandez another goal, 13 points. Palmer 1 point, missed a penalty, saved, great save by Hermanson. Rashford 2, Nkunku 5, and Salah captain, 32 points.
Weekend of penalties.
Yeah. And Tony paid the penalty.
Oh, honestly. I couldn't have got much more wrong this weekend. Liverpool's lineup, like I said in the chat, just paying Southampton way too much respect. They'd probably have done a better job on him if they'd played the second string. Salah, he's just an absolute penalty merchant, and he's getting worse than Fernandez.
Soft ones as well, weren't they? I thought.
Yeah, I've took on Salah now a few times, and it's been painful. Obviously, last week he got a blank against PSG, so it weren't too bad. But yeah, Palmer, what is going on? He's not scored since game week 19.
Yeah, January, wasn't it?
That's not good. And then you think he steps up for that penalty, buries this, and he probably goes on and gets an hat-trick and, kickstart him again, but it's just getting worse. Players end up in these ruts, don't they? I'm pretty certain, obviously, he's going to come out of it, but...
Do you reckon confidence?
He's not lacking in confidence. He's never lacking in confidence. I don't know. I just think it's a run of bad luck. For so long, everything he were hitting or touching were going in, weren't it? Or he had that Midas touch it for a good amount of games, and it just seems that as the games have gone by, it's like more and more pressure now. I think he's feeling. I don't think it's confidence. I think there's a bit of pressure there. He's obviously noticing he's not scoring. We're noticing. Everyone's noticing. It's harming Chelsea because, I mean, he pretty much carried them last season. He's he'll come good. I'm hoping it's Copenhagen midweek and saves me again from being battered off the Salah captainers. But it's not been good. 63 points for me. Vardy had a clean sheet, and then that got taken away later on. Raya brought in. I'm just going to have a whinge about my whole team here. Raya brought in for big money. Done nothing since. 4 points from him. Porro, not benched this time, but concedes again. 3 points. Trent, decent return, 7 points. As usual, pretty solid. Brennan Johnson, who were brought in. Spurs looking crap. He got subbed at half time for Son. Fernandes 13. Okay, 13 for Fernandes. Crazy. Rodgers 3 points. Odegaard, who were brought in, 6 points, which isn't too bad, really.
Right.
Happy enough with that. And Kunku, who were brought in last week, got rested against Copenhagen. I think, did he come on at half time? Just after? He come on for a little bit anyway. He did nothing. Got 5 points this week, which isn't too bad.
He started this one, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't look at it though, do they, Chelsea? That were a plum fixture, that, against Leicester. I know they switched it up and they did go 5 at back, which they should have done weeks ago, I think. Ben, you probably know more of that. I'm pretty sure he should have stuck 3 centre halves in there. Did he bring Cody back?
Yeah, Cody came into yesterday, yeah.
I mean, how he's not been getting in that team, God knows, unless he's been injured.
No.
And then Salah, 16. Again, just not captain him. It's been the difference again, not as it has been the last few times.
It's horrible, isn't it? You literally just can't go against him at the moment. Anytime anyone tries it, just batters you. Apart from last week.
I honestly, genuinely thought Liverpool had rested players. I did. And he just went full strength.
I did think Salah would start it, but I did think they'd rotate more than what they did. Wasn't it just mostly Szoboszlai for Jones, wasn't it?
I reckon if they were winning 3-1 at half time, he might have brought Salah off. But because they were losing, weren't they? So
it was McAllister for Jones, wasn't it? And then Szoboszlai off at half time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you say, if they were ahead by a fair distance, they probably would have made the changes sooner. But he weren't happy at half time, was he? Made them changes.
3 changes, weren't it?
Worked though. Well, yeah. Better luck to you, Tony, for the second half. For the game week with Palmer. I think we'd all want Palmer to do fairly well, don't we? Because we've pretty much all got him at the moment. Do you think Porro is going to start that second one? Because I took him out. I see you guys both left him in. Getting a bit worried.
I don't know. I don't think you can call it. And I think that's why possibly a lot of people have took him out. You want people starting the games, especially your defenders, if you want to try and get clean sheet points off them. So he's edging to. The thing is, he scores so well when he does play. Even if he doesn't get a clean sheet, it's difficult. But ultimately you want people starting the games, and if he's going to get rotated now, Udogie is back, and obviously Spence is getting a lot more game time. It will be for the chopping block soon.
My one, it's been a good week so far. I think the only real difference, to be honest, a lot of the points seem fairly similar, don't they? I So I saw quite a lot of people. Munoz stayed with him this week, and he's done well again, hasn't he? In defence, 10 points. But yeah, my transfer in Rice was the difference maker for my team this week. Maybe a bit fortunate, maybe a bit of luck there.
I've got some rice pudding for my tea, and a bit of jam to go with it. A bit of rice pudding and jam.
You can't win. You can't win, can you? You pick the same players as everyone else. Everyone says it's boring. You go different. It's jammy. Yeah, I'd brought him in only because I wanted that, a bit like Tielemans. I've been talking about Tielemans quite a lot recently, haven't I? I want someone in my team that's just gonna just tick along, not blank. They're probably not gonna haul, but maybe if they can get around 5 points a game, play twice a week, there won't be a problem, and I won't end up getting fed up with them after sort of 2 games. So I'll put him in for that, and obviously got a bit fortunate with the goal there. So 10 points from him. And the other move that I did was Porro out for Virgil van Dijk, which hasn't paid off. Of course, keeps the clean sheets against Newcastle, City, PSG. And then him and Alisson combine for a calamity Southampton goal. Can't write it, can you?
Crazy.
Yeah, maybe that concentration is just a little bit more ramped up for the harder games. That was a bit of a strange one. But yeah, at the back, fairly similar to you guys. Alisson in goal for me, 3 points. Gabriel 3, Virgil 2, Trent 7, Palmer 1 point, Rogers 3, Bruno 13, Rice 10, and then Watkins with a goal, 10 points. Haaland 2. I was like, Tony, you didn't have Haaland yet anyway, did you?
No.
Ben, you took him out.
Yeah.
And that seemed to have worked out quite well. I didn't want to take him out after doing it against Real Madrid. I took him out for Real Madrid and Arsenal, and he punished me. So I thought I'd just keep him in. But yeah, 2 points. And then Salah, captain, 32. So yeah, not bad. I just wanted to say we spoke a bit about Martinez, didn't we, last week? Unbelievable this weekend, wasn't it? Missing again.
He plays when he wants.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I don't know if you heard or not, but there's a guy that was on our was on the deadline stream. Obviously, you weren't about, was you, Tony, on Saturday?
No.
There was a guy on the deadline stream, right, who last week, when Martinez was the injury doubt, he bought in Olsen as a budget keeper, and then obviously Martinez played.
Oh my God.
So he was on the deadline stream and he said, this week I'm going to correct it. I'm going to take Olsen back out and I'm going to bring Martinez back in. And then obviously Martinez is missing after the deadline. So and then he's lost his Olsen clean sheet. So he's not only lost the Martinez clean sheet the first time, he's lost the Olsen clean sheet the second time.
That makes me feel a little bit better.
It can be horrible, can't it, at times, this game?
Oh, brutal.
Yeah, no violin music, but yeah, that one's there for you. I think that's one of the worst bits of luck I've seen.
That's horrible, that.
Right, drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're not already. If you fancy come along to our meetup on the 5th of April. We're getting some numbers now. We're gradually getting a few more people added in. We've booked up Flight Club now as well, so we're going to play a bit of darts. See, Connor's got himself a dartboard, I think. I've heard he's been practicing.
Got too much time on your hands, lad.
If you fancy coming along, everyone's welcome. 5th of April in Leeds. We're meeting at a Weatherspoons called Weatherspoon. Is that right?
Yeah. The one at the train station, isn't it?
Yeah. So midday, a Weatherspoons called Weatherspoon. We'll probably drop our table number so you can buy us peas and shots or whatever to the table. But yeah, if you fancy coming along, just drop a comment and we'll send you the details. If you want to become a Patreon member or sign up to our YouTube channel membership, you get access to our Discord, early access to the pods without adverts and get your questions answered on the pod. And also our Patreon second tier. We've got differentials of the week articles go out on a weekly basis. You would have seen Declan Rice as my differential this week. Who did you guys go for? Neto?
Yeah, mine was Neto, yeah.
Ranieri.
Ooh. I reckon he's going to get that second game now, to be fair. It was a disappointing first one, but I reckon he's going to get that now after the sub. And yeah, Ben's fixture ticker on there as well. So if you want to hit that join button or subscribe on Patreon, it's patreon.com/Dream Team Tonic. Anything else we need to plug?
No.
That's it. Well, let's do some questions then. So, Jay Baker first. Would you get rid of Villa players this week and bring them back, or keep them, take the blank, and get stinkers like Palmer out of your team? Go on, Tony. You're getting the stinker out.
You know, it's tempting, isn't it?
You've actually not got blankers, have you? How many
I've got
blanks have
Rodgers.
you got? Rodgers.
I've got Rodgers, so I do have an extra transfer to tidy up some of these stinkers, but whether it's Palmer, he's not got a great fixture in that single against Arsenal. But then, like you've seen with Haaland and stuff, they could turn up for them big games. It's a big game that for Chelsea and Arsenal. So,
Might get a penalty.
exactly.
Yeah, or a really far away wall.
It's yeah. I wouldn't be. I don't think I'm taking him out. I don't think so at the minute.
What do you reckon, Ben? How many blankers are you on at the moment?
I've got 2 Villa players in my team. I've got Rashford and Rodgers. I'm going to take them both out. And then I'll have 11 players, hopefully. But yeah, I might bring one back in the week after that for 29, is it? Yeah, 29 when they play Preston and Brighton. But yeah, definitely take them out for the blank, get some points on the board.
Yeah, I'm thinking similar. I did say I don't mind holding, like if you had to hold one through the blank. The more I'm starting to think about it, like we've got that international break in between as well, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've already seen this week, Asensio out of nowhere, injured, missing from the team. Starting to wonder if you could end up holding one of these players and then they come back injured or something from international duty, and you've just wasted a week almost, haven't you? I quite like the idea of just getting points on the board, actually. So yeah, I'm thinking just get the blankers out this week. Personally,
I think you've got if you've got Villa players blanking and Cole Palmer, you've got to take the Villa players out. It'd be crazy to take out Palmer ahead of someone that's blanking. Because, as you know, like form is just temporary. There'll be a turning point for Cole Palmer at some point this season before the end. So it could be against Arsenal. It might be midweek against Copenhagen, and this wouldn't even be a conversation.
Yeah, forget about it then. I think we've covered Palmer, but Graham just saying, did Palmer just have a stinker because he had the dodgy tum, or is it time to get rid? Obviously, Maresca come out, didn't he, and said that he wasn't feeling too great.
Must have had the old chippy chips.
Was it confirmed shits or?
No, he said fever, didn't he, after the game? He had fever. That's why he missed the penalty. Load of crap, really, isn't it?
You have to get Timo Imodium in your team alongside him. Might play a bit better. Yeah, he's making excuses for him, isn't he? I think. Take the heat off.
It's not going well for him at the minute, is it? But he's only a game away from it. You know, he could play 90 minutes against Copenhagen and smash them.
That's the thing you notice as well, like on the leaderboard and your league positions, the difference like 4 points can make to your like position. I feel like just even if you had Palmer and he ends up getting like a 4 or 5 pointer, it's like not massive, but it's probably going to make a little bit of a difference in your mini leagues or in your overall rank still.
Yeah, it's still tight, and it's still congested, these leagues, but yeah.
And then thoughts on Forest for the next 2 game weeks from Curite. Any interest in Nottingham Forest players for this? Well, this game week and the double, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think the thing is with Forest is you pretty much know the team to a degree. Chris Wood's absolutely on fire. I think Chris Wood is of interest for the single against Ipswich. And obviously you got the cup game, which you'd like to think now they're in quarterfinals, there'd be a little bit less of rotation. Because, I mean, you got the chance of the FA Cup semi-final off the back of it. Got Brighton, away at Brighton. It's not an easy game, but they're a good side, Forest, well drilled. Yeah, they're actually decent to watch. I enjoyed watching them this season. They're playing really well. And then they've got a nice home fixture against United. So they've got two out of those 3 you target with informed teams, you target with informed players. So I think there is a shout for Chris Wood or Hudson-Odoi, someone like that, for them 2 game weeks. Yeah.
What do you reckon, Ben?
At Forest at home, brilliant, didn't they? They beat Man City. They drew with Liverpool and drew with Arsenal recently as well, all recently. So you'd think they can beat anyone at home. Yeah, short term, if you just want to target 28, Chris Wood's decent. 29, I'm not sure. He might play the cup. You would imagine you would, wouldn't you?
He hasn't done so far.
No, he hasn't. No, but this is a proper test now. Quarterfinals.
Yeah, big
chance
game.
of silverware. You've only got Man City and Villa really out of the top sides that's still in the cup. So there is a good chance Forest getting some silverware here if they play for it.
I mean, you've got to put them as joint second favourites to win FA Cup, haven't you?
On league table, yeah.
I'd say obviously City, just because they've been there, done that, and that's standard, like winning trophies. But with form-wise, you'd say Villa and Forest are. I mean, well, Forest is a form team. They're the ones that are up there.
Brighton are doing well though, aren't they themselves? Although they lost 7-0, didn't they? To them, was it 7?
Yeah, it was. Obviously,
they've been great since
there will be a bit of a. And that was a freak. That wasn't the real Brighton that we see week in, week out.
They've won 6 in a row since that defeat.
Yeah, they have. Really have galvanised them. So, be a good game. Good game, but I just think they've got to go for it, haven't they? Like you say, Ben, chance of silverware when the teams like within that outside the top 5, top 6 usually get these chances to a really good chance to get to Wembley and win an FA Cup. There's not many.
Do you think they win that game then? Do you think the Brighton game? I think they win Ipswich, but the Brighton Cup game?
Yeah, I think Brighton, because Brighton is such an attacking team. I think they're set up for Forest. They love to bring on that counter, Lang, Hudson-Odoi, and then you've got Wood in middle. I just think that's why they suffered a little bit, Brian. But I'm pretty sure Lightning won't strike twice. But even if they do shore it up a little bit, I can still see a 2-1 Forest win there. Chris Wood brace.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm not feeling it. Looking at the fixtures, it looks okay, but I can't see myself bringing them in. Obviously, Chris would be the best one. I think if you knew he was going to definitely start Brighton, but yeah, I don't know why I'm not particularly feeling it. I still feel pulled towards going for City, which seems crazy seeing as they've just beat City themselves, doesn't it? But any teams in particular you're looking at for this week, maybe instead of?
Man City's definitely up there with the Brighton at home, which ain't an easy fixture, like we just said. Brighton's on form. And then you've got Bournemouth away and Leicester at home in the 29. So it's a nice 3-game run, probably the best 3-game run of all the teams. I do like Bournemouth for these next 3 games. You fancy them against anyone at home, especially. Got Brentford at home, Man City in the Cup, and Ipswich at home.
Is that 3 home games in a row? It is, isn't it?
Yeah, they've got a good run there.
You could hold them through the doubles, depending on who goes through in Europe as well, because they've got West Ham away, Fulham at home, Crystal Palace away, Man United at home. So it's quite a good run until they get to May. But yeah, I don't know. Brighton, really good form, but there's no like standout players for me at the moment. I can't.
So like Pedro's on fire. He's on fire, but every time I pick him, he seems. I've always gone through an FPL, and I can never time it. Well. If I bring him in, he'll get injured. If I bring him in, they'll just rotate and bring another striker in. But he does seem to be banging form at the moment, Pedro.
Who would you rather have then, Chris Wood or Pedro over these next 3 games?
I'd actually say Pedro.
Would you?
Yeah. I guess the only thing that, again, with that is the international break thing, going away with Brazil. But then I guess Chris Wood goes away, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. We don't know who they're playing, do we? I could have a look into it.
No. Yeah, I do think that I'd probably back Brighton myself. He seems to be on a bit of a run at the moment, Pedro.
I'd go Wood.
What about Welbeck?
Could do with him at Arsenal, I think.
Might get a recall to the England team.
We'll move on to some next questions because I think a lot of them do feed into some of these options from different sides as well. So we'll carry on pushing on. But Roberto has said, for his first question, would you rather keep someone that's blanking but getting a price rise or someone that's got a bad fixture and probably going down in price? I can't quite tell who he is hinting at, if he is. Yeah. What do you reckon?
You got to target points, haven't you? Really. Even if any stage of the season, if the player's blanking, you want players that are playing. You can still score goals if it's a bad fixture.
Yeah, no argument.
That's agreed.
Then his second part was, what teams are you targeting for the next few weeks? So Bournemouth looks like a pretty good double game week coming up. So I think Bournemouth, what options there would you like the look of? Have you spotted any that you might go for? Either of you, really.
Driver, it's obviously up there. Penalties.
Looks good again, didn't he, that last game? I think I did see a few people take him out this week. He's done well again.
Yeah, he's doing well there. I think he's your option. I think if you're gonna put a Bournemouth lad in, I think you're gonna put Cliver in, aren't you? Being realistic about it, because it's not. I mean, he's gonna be a massive differential if you put him in. So you don't have to go too wild. Put the penalty taker in. That he's on a great run of form. It's similar to what we're saying about Notts Forest. If you fancy it, you're going to go Chris Wood, aren't you? Penalty taker on form. There's no need to go a little bit too clever and go Alanga or Hudson-Odoi. There's no need for that, unless obviously you've no striker spaces and you definitely want one of their attacking options.
Do you fancy any? Man City, like you said, Bournemouth are my favourite two, and then Brighton and Forest. But Liverpool, Man United, Tottenham, they've all got decent fixtures, even though not doubling. And then obviously 29, Villa, Newcastle, Palace are all in the equation for me. Newcastle don't double in 29, but they have Brentford at home. Then they go into Leicester away, and then they double in 31 with Man United at home and Palace at home. So it could be a nice little run for Isak.
That's not bad, is it? Yeah, that's the hard thing. I think this game week 29 does feel really focused on more than some of the other game weeks we've had. I think it's because it's the FA Cup and there's been some decent FA Cup weekends recently, hasn't there?
Obviously, as well, we'll find out who goes through in the Champions League as well, won't we, by the end of this game week?
Yeah, it could be another case where we're sort of forgetting about them because they're not in the app sort of thing when you're looking. But yeah, if you end up loading up too much on the FA Cup, then you lose the fixtures the following week in Europe, won't you? So I guess you could argue that the European fixtures are going to start getting quite hard now, though, is the only thing.
Yeah, because Chelsea get through, they've got Molde or Legia Warsaw.
I looked at there's nothing. There's nothing for Fulham, is there? Fulham are one of the teams that also sort of has the cup and the fixture in this game week, but I can't see anything that I fancy there.
No.
Yeah, I still can't just...
Last time I put him in, he got a red card, so...
I don't know why. I just can't. I'm really fancying City, and I can't really explain it because they're not in the best of form, are they? And they're not looking that convincing. But I just think two of them at home as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
I just think the downside is when you look at City, it's going to be hard to pick someone out that plays all three. Probably, you might end up with 2 out of the 3. Jay Baker, what FA Cup doubles look the most appealing? So the downside of this, I think the 2 that do look the most appealing are the 2 that blanked the week before, aren't they? The Aston Villa double of Preston and Brighton away.
Yeah. And
then Crystal Palace, Fulham away, Southampton away. I think do look like the best 2 doubles. But that is the downside. No game this week.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's worth like keeping them in. They're good doubles, but I don't think it's worth sacrificing a week before. Do you? Like
no, definitely not.
Multiple. No.
Not when you get 2 transfers each week as well. I think you should be able to shimmy around and get your blankers out and then bring one back in the week after. Say if you've got a Munoz or a Rodgers or a Watkins, just shimmy around.
I would say if you have 3 blankers for next week and you had Munoz, I would leave Munoz in out of the 3 because you can probably get more points from the attacking players. Now look at Van Dijk today, this weekend, 2 points. Yeah. Is it worth bringing him in for 1 game and you might only get 2 points?
Yeah.
It's better just leaving Munoz in there. But yeah, attacking players can get like 15 points. So you might get someone who gets a couple of goals or a goal and assist, something like that in 1 match. So it's worth going for that.
Yeah, that move that because I did see quite a few people do Munoz out for like Virgil van Dijk or Gabriel. But last week, if you'd have timed it, you'd have got 3 games for 1, wouldn't you? So
yeah,
10 points to beat. You still think maybe there's a good chance that Virgil can get it over the next 2.
Yeah,
but definitely with 1 game, it's a bit of a risk, isn't it?
It only takes them to concede 1 goal, doesn't it? Like players like Van Dijk, then you go back down to 2 points.
Yeah,
did Virgil van Dijk score? Sorry,
he don't get much else, does he? At a point, your scores keep clean sheet.
Did he score in the final last year, the Carabao Cup? Last
Yeah.
season?
Yeah.
That might happen again, eh? Brothers, so captain picks for next week. So is anyone fancying Haaland versus Brighton or Bruno away at Leicester? Or are you sticking to Mo Salah? Tony?
I might be bringing in Chris Wood and captaining him.
Go on, Tony.
Double down, double down.
Yeah, I think I would go for it, I know. Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about
I like the picture. Like I say, he's a man on form. I am tempted by Justin Cliver as well at Bournemouth. I like them. Brentford, Man City, Ipswich, 3 home games, nice fixtures. If he keeps himself fit over that international break, he's going to play all 3, I guess. Penalties, Bournemouth for a quality side. Yeah, maybe one of them 2, I think. Cliver or Wood.
Bet you would have brought Cunha in, wouldn't you, if he were suspended for Southampton?
Yeah. Well, we're hoping. Obviously, without that suspension, I would have held him. He had Everton, didn't he, at the weekend?
Yeah.
He didn't play, and then Bournemouth. So the plan was always to hold him through to this. But yeah, it's just a bit frustrating.
Differential captain, Bowen, Jared Bowen. He's got Everton away. He hasn't got a double the week after, but he's got Wolves away after that, and then Bournemouth at home in the other single. But yeah, I think I'm going to go Salah just because of potential extra time minutes if if it's a draw. So if it's a 2-2 draw and he's got a goal already and it goes to another 30 minutes, he might get extra chance of scoring bonus points or whatever chance he created. It's just more minutes for more points. I did like the Leicester fixture for Bruno though, but yes, he does do well against Leicester, but I think everyone does do well against Leicester. Apart from Palmer. But yeah, it's a double game week. I mean, not double game week. A final. You could say the same thing for Isak, couldn't you? But
yeah,
you'd say Liverpool's stronger than Newcastle, and they've got a few injuries in Newcastle at the back and that. So yeah, I think Salah.
Do you not think? Obviously, Liverpool pretty much have the Premier League wrapped up. But it could still all go wrong from regarding a double or a treble, couldn't it? PSG, I mean, that was an absolute smashing crap what they did in France. Yeah. So they were still up against it there. If PSG bring that same game over to Anfield, I know it's a completely different game at Anfield and what have you, but if they do perform like they have, you could see PSG overturning that. And then going into that Newcastle game off back of a elimination from the Champions League could be testing because he could be basically out of 2 competitions in the same week. We've seen it happen. Arsenal have been on the back end of one of them not so long ago, where your whole season falls to bits in the space of like 2 or 3 weeks.
I don't know what you're talking about. I suppose it's a fair point as well. We don't know yet, but one of those suggestions or 2 of them could even be off the back of 120 minutes in Europe, couldn't they?
Yeah,
potentially.
Yeah.
Both were tight games, weren't they? United and Liverpool, so that's not out of the question either. Would that?
Yeah.
If Salah played 120 in the midweek, would you worry about? He's still going to play good minutes, but would you worry about his performance maybe, or still go for it?
I think I'd still go for it. Even if he gets 120 minutes in Europe?
He's a machine though, isn't he?
He is a machine.
Yeah, I think it'll be a late kickoff on Sunday. I think. Yeah, I think I still go for him. He's on fire this season.
I'm not certain, but I'm quite leaning towards Haaland for the Brighton game. I think did Brighton beat them early in the season? I think they might have done actually.
Yeah, we're not 2-0. We're 2-0.
I just feel like that might be a game that's a little bit one that might suit them a little bit more. It's at City as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fancying Haaland at the moment. Two blanks in his last 8 games, so he's doing a bit better. Obviously, just blanked against Forest, but that's quite a horrible sort of low block style game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think you're going to end up with there's going to be a big split in 28 regarding captain. I think Salah will probably still be the highest because that's the safety option kind of thing. But I think there'll be quite a few on Bruno. I think there'll be quite a few on Haaland. People that still have him.
Yeah, I potentially see myself captaining Haaland for the next 2 game weeks, possibly. Do you reckon he's the best captain for the following week? I know we're jumping the gun a bit, but Bournemouth, Leicester, I imagine he starts both.
Yeah, I pinpointed that as the week I would bring him back. Obviously, it's a tough game down at Bournemouth, but the Leicester fixture at home stands out. Yeah, I think I'd probably be bringing him back and captaining him 29.
You're not captaining Munoz? Fulham and Southampton?
I mean, it's a fair point. It's a good shout. He's on fire, isn't it?
He almost had another one.
Yeah, he's so attacking. It's unreal. We thought Porro were attacking, but he's something else. Munoz. He's a good option. Good option. Out of all the doubles and that.
Just looking back at Haaland against Brighton last game, so he scored 1, had 3 shots on target in that game. I'm sure I remember him hitting the woodwork as well because I remember complaining about it. That's when he was in the middle of that rough spell, wasn't it? Because he blanked against Bournemouth as well just before it. I think he was quite close in that one.
What score did it finish at Brighton?
2-1 Brighton.
Yeah, I thought it was 2-1.
2-1 Brighton, 2-1 Bournemouth. Lost to both of those teams there.
2 very good footballing sides though, Brighton and Bournemouth. Tricky.
Let us know in the chat who you're thinking about captaining for this game week. It does seem like the one where you could potentially go different, but I do also think that Ben, what you're saying about the extra time, Salah just always does seem to pop up like towards the end of games, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I think a few. Well, probably you were thinking it, Tony. Like,
yeah.
I can't remember who it was. Someone in our Discord, in our match chat, were just saying that they thought they'd got away with it with just one goal. And then there comes the second one. Can never rule him out.
Not like Saka, is he? Don't give his penalties away.
No. He's not sharing. Part 3? Is it part 3 here? No, the second part of his question was, is Chris Wood a decent punt? But I think we've covered Chris Wood now. So, and the last one, I'll give this to you, Tony, first as well, because he's one of your boys, Doku. So, hit a bit of form recently in his last 3 games. He scored 7 points, 8 points, and 8 points. The majority of that being bonus. I think one of them was max bonus, and I think the other 2 were free bonus in each. Brad is saying if he adds goals and assists to his game, surely he's one to look at. Is he on your radar for this period?
Honestly, I can't sing his praise enough. I think he's brilliant. He's an exciting player. He does that end product. I think obviously he's struggled a little bit with niggles and injuries. He's been in and out of the team. When he plays, if I knew he was playing in that double Bournemouth Leicester, I think he's a no-brainer because with the amount of time, he's a little bit like an Adama Traore cheat code for the for the 7 rating back in the olden days. Because he's just gonna rack them bonus points up every single game he's playing. So you're pretty much starting on between 3 and 5 points. Just for him playing, like I say, if he adds goals and assists, I mean, he could be mega. He could be getting 15-point hauls week in, week out. It's just, it's first off with City, it's always who's going to be on the pit. Yeah, I think Grealish was back on bench, weren't he? And so you've got those doubts about whether he's even going to start. And then yeah, it's just a little bit that end product. But I think it'll come. He's a quality player.
You fancy it, Ben?
I don't know. I've been looking at his stats, and yeah, he does well for bonus points, and obviously he's got the most dribbles, but his crossing is atrocious. He's got 13 accurate crosses all season, and then you've got Savinho's on 28, Foden's on 44, and De Bruyne's on 31, and he's been injured a lot of the season as well. So I think I've still got to go for Foden before him because I ain't got Foden now. I think if you already had Foden and you had Haaland, you could go for a little cheeky punt on Doku for 2 weeks. But I think Foden and Haaland have got to be in there before him. But then if you go too many City players in game week 30, that's when Europe starts again. And City are out, and they so they're back down to 1 game a week, pretty much until the end of the season, unless they get through to the next round of the FA Cup. Then that game in 33 with Villa will be postponed, and it'll be moved. So yeah, just be wary of going too mad with City players.
It's a really weird one because, like I said, I do really want City for this bit. I probably will do something like maybe get 2 City in now. I've already got Haaland though, so maybe like up it to 3 and then drop 2 straight back out again for Europe. But I thought this was weird. So do you know we're saying about Doku doing really well in specifically those last 3 games? It wasn't long ago when Savinho was doing really well for bonus. And I was having a little look on FF stuff because the last few weeks, I think it's actually the last 4 game weeks, Savinho's points have dropped off a cliff. He's gone from scoring really well to like basically doing nothing. And then at the same time, Doku is now getting loads of bonus and doing really well, but they're both in the same team. So I think it's like when Doku wasn't in the team, it was all going down Savinho and he was doing really well for his bonus and his crossing. And now Doku's come in, Savinho's now not doing so well. And do you know those 3 games where we're looking at Doku thinking he's done really well here because he's got points? How many goals do you reckon they scored in them 3 games?
1?
1 goal, yeah.
Yeah.
No goals against Forest or Liverpool. And he's smashed it for bonus.
Didn't he get 5 against Liverpool? Bonus points.
Up against Trent. Just taking him on all day long, but nothing's happening, is it? So it's hard to know. Doku's got really good Dream Team points, but does Pep think that's a good thing?
Savinho seems to play better on the left as well.
Yeah.
He's been shifted back to the right wing with Doku on the left, and yeah, like you say, his points have dropped off now.
But then Marmoush as well. Marmoush was kind of off the left, wasn't he, as well? He was either really kind of like a second striker, but he drifts out onto that left position.
Marmoush has got 9 accurate crosses already compared to Doku's 13.
In about 5 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw myself going for like a Savinho or a Marmoush for this week. But like, you're going to be disappointed with one of them, aren't you? Someone's getting rotated there.
Yeah.
So it's a really hard decision. Now Doku's thrown in the mix, makes it even harder. Foden, you might end up with only 2 out of those 4 even playing. I think that was the first game that Marmoush hasn't started in the Prem since he's come in. I was quite surprised about that, but maybe Forest just wasn't the right kind of game because he done really well, didn't he, getting in behind Newcastle? But that space is not there against Forest, is it? So yeah,
No.
I'm a bit stuck for which one, which 2 I'd go for. I feel like I want to, but yeah, it's a tough one.
Wouldn't you rather go for Vardio?
Yeah, well, he's the one I kind of have written down that you'd be pretty confident that he gets 3 games, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It might mean going 4 at the back for a week or 2 weeks. I don't know. Who would your favourite 2? Who would your favourite 2 City be if you brought him in? Take Haaland out of the equation. I know because you're going to bring Haaland back in, aren't you, Ben? What do you think so?
Yeah.
Out of those other ones,
Yeah, I
KDB.
think I know KDB, but he can be rotated a bit, isn't he, as well?
Mm-hmm.
He was on the bench the other week. I don't know, like probably Vardio. Not the most exciting pick, but he can get goals. He's always in and around the box, isn't he? In the opposite box.
It's always like him.
You see Brighton and Bournemouth both scoring, don't you? I feel like.
And Leicester, probably.
Nah, they won't score.
We should have beat City in the first match.
Who we got up next? Oh, Tony, who would your 2 be?
I'm just going to bring Haaland back in. I've already got Vardio. Don't want to load up too much. I'd love to take a punt on Doku or Savinho, but no, sensible ideas. Haaland comes in. I've already got Vardio, and then whether Vardio comes out as we go into like 30 and 31.
Yeah, I still think I might do 2, but couldn't tell you which ones. I'll have a think a bit more about that. Nad Gill. I have Ollie and Rodgers. Do I bring in Kluivert and Evan Nilsson as they have 2 games in 29, or keep Rodgers and get rid of Palmer? I think we've already said we'd rather keep Palmer than hold a blank, wouldn't we?
Definitely.
We've covered Kluivert. Any love for Evan Nilsson? He's done well, but he's only just come back, hasn't he?
Yeah, I'd go for it, but he has done all right. Like you say, you want a little run of games, someone who comes back from an injury.
I'd probably mix it up a bit. Obviously, if you've got Salah, you've already got Haaland. I'd probably go for someone like a Chris Wood or something like that, if you want to go different. But yeah, I like Kluivert. But if you go too differential, too far away from European teams, you're going to be losing fixtures. So you just got to be careful. Depends on your team, how many you've already got, how many differential players you've already got, and how many players you haven't got in Europe. Because if all the English teams go through, then there's loads of fixtures there you're missing out on.
Yeah, is there a temptation? Is there a temptation? Like you said, some of the fixtures are quite good. If, say, all the English teams do go through, would you consider bringing in one sort of cup punt and one European player?
Well, at the moment, I'm going to bring in 2 City players, so they are cup punts really, because they're not in Europe. So yeah, possibly 2 City players at the minute. I do like the Bournemouth fixture though. Do fancy Bournemouth for City.
That is 2 cup punts, isn't it? You don't usually say that about City, but yeah.
Tough.
Tricky one. I like Kluivert, I like Wood as options.
Even Kluivert, though, is the same scenario as we said with Chris Wood. I think he hasn't started the cup games so far. I think Semenyo has been, but nearer you get to the final, would you say? more
You
likely
got to
to.
go. You go strong. Quarterfinals. You got to go. I think semi-finals are played at Wembley, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's a day out. That is. It's you've got to go for it. I'm sorry, I can't see Bournemouth. I said this last week, and I'm not going to say it again. I said it with Liverpool, and they ended up playing full strength, so I'm not going to repeat myself.
Well, it's just like they've got so much to play. The teams, quite a few of these teams, I know they're not teams that usually get to the sort of later stages of the cup, but Forest, Brighton, Bournemouth, all got European ambitions in the league as well, haven't they? So all doing really well.
Well, quick debate. What do you think about that FA Cup semi-finals being at Wembley?
I just don't. I think it's just money making, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all about money. I don't get it really. The idea was meant to be Wembley was you get to Wembley by getting to the final, but
It does take it, just take it away from the actual final itself a little bit, doesn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It used to be quite special getting to the final, didn't it? Because you get to play at Wembley, but now lots of teams play at Wembley because you play at the semi-finals at Wembley, and then you got the Community Shield. Obviously, Community Shield's at Wembley as well. So, and the
Didn't they
League
used to
Cup final.
play it? Was it just when the new Wembley was being built, or was it longer than that? When they played it at two neutral grounds?
Yeah, we Rovers played a semi-final against Chelsea at Old Trafford,
Then was one at Villa. Where was the other one?
and then I think Villa Park held the other one.
Yeah,
So
Hillsborough used to do them as well, didn't they? I think it depends where the teams are from.
Yeah, there's two teams in the English Football League that have not played at the new Wembley. Two teams. Can you name them?
Is it Rovers?
One of them's Rovers. The other one might take a while to get, but it's Aki Stanley, which is basically next door to us.
Yeah,
and we won the Worthington Cup when
Cardiff.
at Cardiff. So I've been to Millennium Stadium and we won a trophy, and then obviously I think it was the year after we played at Old Trafford in the FA Cup semi final. We lost in extra time to Chelsea. The year after that, it was the semi-finals were at Wembley. So I mean, the only other time we've come close is infuriating back when Steve Keane were in charge of Rovers, and we went to Cardiff away in a semi-final, in a quarter-final, sorry. And you were like, "This is a shoe in this. We're going to finally get to Wembley," and he played a weakened side, and we got beat. And his excuse was basically the league's more important. I think you absolute prick. No, it isn't. for our club, like if you think if you're a Bournemouth fan now,
Yeah,
and it's going to an FA Cup quarter final, you've got a day out at Wembley if you get to the semi final, and a really really good chance against that final. I mean, you've got to play your full strength side. You can't be doing what Steve Keane did. I mean, he's an absolute idiot. So yeah, I just think everyone's going to go strong. Quarterfinals. There's only 8 teams left in it. You've got a 1 in 8 chance of winning that trophy. You've got to give your fans what they deserve.
That must have been the year that Portsmouth won it, 2008. I think
it was. Yeah.
I think they played Cardiff in the final. I think Cardiff beat Barnsley in the semi-final, something like that.
Honestly, it was an absolute perfect opportunity to get to Wembley, even to the final.
Yeah.
I guess it's also an insurance policy to get into Europe, isn't it?
As well as, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like Bournemouth and Forest are already up there. Then you've got Fulham. Fulham are a good side. Brighton, good side. But these teams, Fulham, Brighton, Forest, Bournemouth, I mean, this is a great opportunity to win a trophy. Go out and get it. If any of them rest their first 11, I think there's going to be questions asked.
Right, let's move it on. DT Patrick, any concerns about having too many Liverpool players if they get the league tied up too early? It's tied up now, isn't it?
Well,
I don't
obviously
think
not. I mean, it looked like they were tied up beforehand, and they still went big against Southampton, and obviously with the massive PSG game and Newcastle game coming up on the back of that, we were thinking it was a shoe-in to or I was at least. I thought it was a shoe-in for a rest, but yeah, I won't be worried. Everton.
You said they had a rest against PSG, didn't
I
they?
was just gonna. I was good. No, Alex got the other rest against Southampton in the first half, didn't he?
Oh, that was it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about it. I think how many players have I got now? 3. I've not gone overboard yet, anyway. But I'm not too worried about it. If they're still in Europe as well, they're still getting fixtures, aren't they? So, yeah, I'm not too worried.
And yeah, if they're not resting for this Southampton game, like when are they?
Yeah, and if they get knocked out, they're still going to play strong all the way through, aren't they? If they get knocked out of Europe.
Yeah, they'll want to go like try and set records, or Salah's still there. Like they're going to want to try and keep him happy to try and get him to stay.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't see it being a problem. And if it does become a problem, we've got the 2 transfers a week to get rid of them, haven't we? I don't think it's an issue. And then Icos, Ian, is it still worth looking to build budget? Is it still in your mind at all?
Nope. I've not looked at it, if I'm honest. The only time I look at it is if we're on the deadline stream and I just click on it and we mention it, or I haven't looked at it for the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's not really bothered me lately. Obviously, with Saka being injured, it's not been so much of a problem. I don't think it's been pretty easy to get a good team together. I mean, if we had a full, if we had all the top hit, the big hitters all fit, then obviously the budget would be a bit more important. But this season, it's not been too bad.
He might not be far off though.
Yeah.
With Saka.
Yeah. I think I was priced out of Watkins last week, so I obviously went for Rashford instead. But yeah, I've not been too fussed about building budget because there's quite a lot of options, and obviously there's a lot of ways of scoring points in this game. So it's not the all end all goals and assists that you can worry about. You can get points from other angles.
Yeah, I did think about it this week, more so because I didn't feel like there was an obvious pick that I particularly wanted to go for. So I did consider it, but the last 2 weeks, I think it was back to back, or maybe 2 out of the last 3 weeks, I'd been priced out of people that I wanted. I had that combination where I would have quite liked Raya and Tielemans, but I had to go for like Allison and Rodgers. It turned out okay, but it just made me think about, actually, budget maybe is still a thing. And then the week before that, I think it was, or the one before that, was when that Mbumo game before the blank, do you know, we had a nice double. I was 0.1 again out of getting him into my team. And I was like, okay, no, maybe I could do with, maybe I have ignored it a bit too much recently. Because I have been bringing in players regardless of whether they're dropping or whatever. Yeah. So I did this week. I still had the choice, I think, of going Erdegaard or Rice, and I preferred Rice, even though the price increase was a little bit less. But yeah, this week I did try to go for risers, just because I do feel like I've been priced out a couple of times recently. But it just depends on what your current budget is, and if you're starting to think about what your future moves are going to be as well, maybe try and plan it in, because I did think I had a bit of a unlimited budget going on, and then when the moves came round, even though I'd worked it out on paper and I thought it was going to be okay, but just I only took a 0.1 being out to mess me up. So just depends on yourself.
I mean, I'll be watching Haaland go down in price in 28. I'll be bringing him back in 29. So, I mean, he's probably going to go down 0.3, isn't he? You guess, but did he get 2 points? 3 for Foden, 2 for Haaland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll be hopeful. I mean, I might be getting more of an increase in 29. But yeah, again, I'm not really.
Doku it is.
Well, I think where you've been caught a couple of times with a thing, you've still had Haaland in your team.
Yeah.
So you've a big chunk of budget. It's all right for me saying I've not thought about budget when I've not had Haaland for 3 weeks. So you don't have to think about, with no Haaland, no Saka, it's nice and easy, isn't it?
Yeah, I might be having a situation now where I'm saying I'm going to take Watkins out. If he scores again against Bruges, I'm going to be taking out a rising 0.3 Watkins probably.
Yeah.
And then I'm saying, okay, I'll swap him for a City. City are going to go down. And then I'm saying I'm going to get Watkins back for Preston.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's going to be, that'll be a bit painful, won't it? So maybe it's a bit more relevant than we thought.
Yeah, it could be.
A couple from YouTube as well. We've done Chris Wood to death now. But yeah, Chris Wood surely has to be mentioned for the single game week. He has been. Yeah. Cheers for the question.
Not going to read his name out.
It's Dave.
Yeah, it is Dave, yeah.
That's Dave, yeah. Dave from the live stream. We tried to read it before and he said, just call me Dave next time.
Right, Dave?
Cheers, Dave. And then Shane McClear. Hi, guys. Need to take out Rodgers and Watkins for game week 28. Considering players from teams with decent fixtures in 28 who double in 29, which was sort of what we covered.
Yeah.
He said Bournemouth, Fulham, Brighton, City and Forest. And I think we have... He's given a list of people who would you recommend best pick from these midfielders. We have covered a lot of them, but he's a few that we haven't really mentioned. Matoma, Minte, Tavernier from Bournemouth, Alanga, Gibbs White, nice assist at the weekend, and Iwobi from Fulham. But yeah, lists on the screen. Is there any there that's you'd maybe not thought of that you'd put ahead of some of the ones we've read out? Or
No, because I think Fulham, they've got, to be fair, the fixtures are all right. Home to Tottenham, home to Palace. And obviously away at Arsenal, last one. But I think, again, you go Jimenez, wouldn't you? You go the goal scorer, the penalty taker. Or is it Pereira the penalty taker, is it? I just think you go for the man in form. Same with Forest, as we said, with Chris Wood, Bournemouth, Cliver. The good options like Lang, but it is very differential, if you get what I mean. Why not? I mean, rather than put one from each team in, back one team, put Alanga and Chris Wood in. Double up on that team, rather than go at a Cliver and a Wood, which is, I think, what I'm going to do.
I feel like I prefer to. I would go one from each, but I see what you're saying. You might assist each other.
Yeah, I mean, you could either just back a team or put the penalty taker in from each team, Cliver and Wood. I think they're the probably two best options. I wouldn't. I know I've just said Jimenez, but obviously I've been burnt there.
Yeah, out of their midfielders, I think Foden for me, and then possibly Cliver. The best two for me.
Yeah, I don't mind the Clivert shout for pens. Still City though for me, I think. It'll come round to the weekend. I'll completely change my mind. Right. That is it for the questions. We had the awkward silence as we brought up the leagues last week. So let's give this a try, shall we? Let's read them out. Tonic Second Chance League. So we'll do the top 3, but I think in most occasions we've got top 10 on the screen if you want to have a look there. But top 3 from the second chance league: Ben Coles, D Molov, and T Gledhill in first. Can you hear it? Is it coming through?
Yeah, I'm just laughing because you called him Malloy.
Oh, it's cut off there.
I was thinking Molotov cocktail. Is it a Molotov?
I can't see the bottom of the.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
Patreon members only cash league. We have Lee Giles in third, Silent Powell in second, and Jacko Miles first.
I can't see, lads, so you're gonna have to just
Right.
work this bit yourselves.
Patreon
Right.
Shield is the top 8 go through to the next round. So we got Tom Gledhill in 8th, Jay Cummins in 7th, A Gregory in 6th, N Reeve in 5th. 4th we have M Warner, 3rd T Bradburn, 2nd Patrick Bryson, and 1st S Whale.
1 week to go in that.
1 week to go, and then it's the quarterfinals.
I've dropped like a stone. It's going to take me a differential captain to try and get into that top 8.
Are you going to bring the shield? You're going to bring the shield to the meetup? So I'll get a picture with it and give it back.
Yeah, the shield's coming out. I'll get the design out in the next couple of weeks, and I'll bring it over.
Or the open top bus around Leeds with it.
Yeah.
Right, Tonic Tag Team League. Yeah, so myself and Connor still in third. There's not been much movement in this league. Second, Paul McNulty, Andrew Ferguson, and still top, we've got Adam Gregory and Stephen Maxwell smashing it. It's getting close between first and second though.
Yeah. 8 points now.
8 points between 4 managers. Decent.
We're still third though. That gap between us and Paul and Andy, that's almost 100 points there. And then this is the Cash League. So Silent Pal in third, Enmore in second, and Jay Godwin top. He's smashing it in the overall as well, isn't he? Let's have a look at the overall leaderboard. Yeah, he's third overall currently. Doing
Well
very
done.
well.
Yeah, well played, man.
Right, now I don't turn the music off.
It's just a bit on loop.
All right, that is it, lads. Let's I'll quickly scan and see if we've got any questions in the comments, but I think that is it. Yeah, no more questions in there. But Miss Snoopy said, "Gone very professional with the music." Cheers, Miss Snoopy.
Going on in the world.
Again, if you want to come along to the meetup, just drop a comment. We've had a few extra people message us on Patreon or on Discord. Just reach out to us wherever if you want the details. And then if you'd like to become a YouTube channel member, just hit that join button or head over to patreon.com/Dream Team Tonic. Cheers, lads.
Yeah, cheers mate.
Scott. Cheers, Ben.
Looking forward
Cheers.
to that meetup now. It's coming around soon.
It is, yeah. Like you say, get the messages in, get the numbers together. Because if we have to book another hockey at the flight club, then we need to get it done sooner rather than later. So yeah, if you are thinking of coming and you've not already said, do just message one of us and we'll get you added onto the list, and we'll make sure we've got enough space. It'd be a good laugh at that flight club.
Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it? It's proper professional, slow motion replays and all stuff like that, isn't it? You've been before, haven't you, Scott?
Yeah, I've been before. I'm not very good though. It's good fun.
That's
Though.
where
It's good
everyone
fun.
throwing 20 quid in.
I'll still do it. There's always a chance, isn't there? Yeah, we went. We booked it for my brother's stag do because there was a big group of us and not everyone knew each other. We did it as a bit of an icebreaker, so it would be perfect. It's be perfect for this. I think I sent you the video clips. It was like slow motion, and bear in mind, I think we'd probably, like, some of us had met each other for the first time probably an hour or so before, and and someone hit a bullseye, and when you hit the bullseye, it shows you a slow motion replay, and I think they email you the clips as well, the video clips, so you can keep them for yourself.
Awesome.
And there's a group of lads who've not met each other, picking each other up, jumping up and down, like proper celebrations. And you think you must have known each other for years if you'd have seen it. Really good fun. So yeah, hope to reenact that with you guys.
Yep. Quality.
Cool. We'll see you on the next one.
Cheers, everyone.
Bye bye.
Cheers.